Hey, Mark.
Okay, sorry I'm late. So this is planning board meeting for June 23rd, 2021. Val, you can just do a roll call real quick.
Sure. Pete Driscoll,
Present.
Mike Gore,
Present.
Mark Sprague,
Present.
Jim Barr. I think he's here. Danielle Spicer.
Here.
And Eric Nyland is absent.
Okay.
Jim is here. I don't know if you saw, he is here.
Yes, hi, there you are. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. So going through our, so we have our review of correspondence. I think the only, let's see, you have the planner's report. If you want to just go through the highlights of that.
Sure. So just a couple of things. So I met with a prospective development team for 500 Main Street. So I think that's referred to as the Kane land that's just behind the Country Cupboard property. Okay. I explained that they're looking to do initially they're looking to do a comprehensive permit, but I explained that we're entering into a local initiative program application with another comprehensive permit developer at 580 Main. So they're considering what their options might be with whether they want to request that the selectmen entertain another comprehensive permit, or looking at what their options might be through a special permit with the planning board regarding a mixed use style development on that land. I also wanted to mention the continuation of remote meetings. So the governor signed an extension of a portion of the COVID bill that allowed open meeting law to be expanded to allow remote meetings. So essentially we're allowed to do Zoom meetings through April of 2022, or up until April of 2022. But I wanted to kind of get a sense of, what the board's preference is there. Like, is there a date in the future that you might want to also have a component where we're actually meeting in a room, or continue doing remote meetings because it's easier for work-life balance, or what your thoughts are on that?
Just a question, Valerie. We have to have either all remote or all in person. Is there any hybrid option? Yes,
there is. So essentially they're saying as long as you provide the ability for people to participate remotely, you're able to do an in-person meeting. So you can do a hybrid style meeting. It might be a little complicated. We can see how other boards and committees might be doing it. But as far as I know, people are, for the moment, continuing to just do remote. But you would be able to do a hybrid if you chose.
Yeah, I'm not saying we necessarily want to do that. I was just questioning whether it's an option, because I could see it being complicated. I guess for me, I'd say personally stay remote through the summer, and
exactly what I was thinking.
Fall, with summer stuff, and when school and after school stuff gets a little more straightened out. But that's just me personally.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with staying remote through the summer, and then maybe seeing if in the fall. I mean, I like the idea of a hybrid option. So if we could look into that, see if it's viable, but we can kind of assess once we get into the fall. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think through the summer, stay remote. I think I'm still waiting to find out what my employer is going to be doing as far as whether they want us back in the building or leave us remote. So that'll depend on how long I stay up in Maine versus coming, being back in Bolton full time. So, yeah, I'm kind of playing, waiting for that to settle out. So yeah, I think, from my perspective through the summer would be good. And then, I mean, I've been in enough meetings where you've got some people on the phone and some people in the room, and it always gets very messy very quickly. So I'm not wild about the hybrid approach, but I may be somebody to take advantage of it too. So,
Okay. All right. Well, we can see where we're at in September, and
yeah, I think that probably makes the most sense.
I also wanted to note that the board special permit decision for 59 Sampson Road was appealed. So we can discuss that in other, perhaps executive session at some point. But I just wanted to make you all aware that it was appealed on the basis of the question of continuous existence of a historic barn.
Okay.
Lastly, or not quite lastly, but moving on, the master plan public forum has been postponed from their July 17th to sometime in September or October. So I'll touch base with you all at some point to as we're finalizing dates, just to see what time might work best if you all want to participate in that. So essentially, we were all told that a weekend in July is just a little too crazy to anticipate that we'd get good participation. So in the interest of having a lot of good input, we're putting it off for a few months. And then I still need a few more signatures for the Worcester District Registry of Deeds. Sorry. So I need, I think I'm looking for, I think it's Mark and Danielle. Yeah. So,
yeah.
But Mark, I know that you're out of state.
Yeah, I'll be down either tomorrow or Monday. Well, I'll definitely be down on Monday, and then we'll see whether I'm down tomorrow or not.
Okay,
I will try to do it tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah, the registry hasn't given any applicants any problems that I know of so far, so it's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But we'll see. All right, I think that's all I had.
Okay. And then I think the only correspondence we had was on for Moderator Way, and I think we can probably leave that until our discussion on Moderator Way later on, if there's no objections to that. Okay. And I did not see the minutes from June 9th attached to the. Okay.
No, no, I did not have time. So next time.
No problem. Just never know if it's pilot error or just got too busy. So it sounds like you got too busy, which is fine. Okay. I think next on the agenda. Let's see. Yeah, a couple minutes early. So we can sit and stare at each other. We can get started early if there's no. I don't know if the applicant for the backline lot for 174 Harvard Road is here or not.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi there.
Okay. If there are no objections, I guess why don't we get started on that? So I don't know if is your engineer going to be here or for this or?
Sorry, what was the question?
Is your engineer going to be here to present it, or are you taking care of that yourself?
No, the engineer's not going to be here.
Okay. Okay. So tell us a bit about what you're doing, and I think Valerie, if you want to just put up the plan, you can take just so we can follow.
Did you?
Yeah, this
I might actually. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is the hearing. We need to read.
Hearing, so I need to read all the silliness, don't I? Okay.
That's
Hold on a second.
You,
Okay.
you gotta open up the hearing.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna open the hearing. So in accordance to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 11, notice is hereby given that the Bolton Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021 at 7:15 p.m. via Zoom video communications to hear and act upon the application of Justin Callis of 174 Harvard Road. The applicant is seeking a backland lot special permit pursuant to Section 250-13 of the Code of the Town of Bolton in the residential zoning district for the property located at 174 Harvard Road, identified on the assessor's map as 6C as parcel 10. The application and plans are available for review online. The public meeting will be held via remote participation pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GL Chapter 30A, Section 18. Login information is provided below and is posted on the town calendar on the homepage for the Bolton website. Okay, I think that makes us legal now. So we can go, now if we're going to go to the plan, we can take a look at it and get some details on what you're doing and such.
Okay, like you said, the plan is available on the website. I think you're pulling it up right now. There it is.
Yeah.
So it's 4.6 acre backlot for residential single family home to be built. And I'm not exactly sure what details you needed me to present for the purposes of this meeting, but
So I believe it has sufficient frontage.
yep, 50-foot frontage.
And the regularity factor is sufficient. I mean, it looks fairly good to me. So you're just carving this off to sell it to whoever.
It was actually my parents who are the owners of 174 Harvard Road, the entirety of the property.
Okay.
And the property is currently under Chapter 61 forestry. And so we wanted to remove that from Chapter 61. And I'm their son. So they want, and it's been in Chapter 61 for over a decade. So I believe that exempts it from, and obviously I'm a direct family member. So I believe that exempts it from the taxes for any kind of sale.
Okay. I'm not.
I know, I'm not presuming anyone here is a lawyer. I'm just saying, just to put that in the open. I didn't want to. I just wanted that to be known.
Yeah. Okay.
Is the intent
Okay.
for the rest of the acreage to be kept in chapter?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it would only be the 4.6 acres of the carve out here to be taken out of forestry.
And Valerie, basically this plan pretty much meets all the zoning requirements for the A&R.
Yes, it does. Actually, the planning board had approved an A&R at a meeting maybe two to 4 weeks ago. I'm forgetting exactly which one. So it does meet all of the A&R requirements, yes, and it does meet the dimensional requirements for a backland lot as well.
I don't have any additional questions.
Again, my only, and this is back from my time on Board of Health, but the existing house, you've had Title V on that to show that it has a working septic and a viable reserve area.
There's been no percolation test or septic survey, anything like that done. We wanted to make sure that the lot boundaries were approved before we move forward with anything of that nature.
Okay, yeah, this gets a little bit weird because technically under Title V, you need to have that proven before you carve a lot off. Or I should say, 10 or 15 years ago, that's the way it was. I don't think they softened that. I mean, the whole reason for that is to make sure that you haven't, orphaned, the existing house with no viable place for a septic. I mean, I would think in the remaining space that wouldn't be a problem, but you need to. I'm surprised your engineer didn't flag that as a requirement.
Well, he advised that the water test, the deep hole percolation test, should be done during the dry season, which he recommended late August.
Okay, I mean they do them all year round, so I'm not sure why you'd wait to August, but I mean, I would check with the Board of Health.
Okay.
Because we've had some issues where people haven't done that and have kind of gotten themselves in a bind because of that. So
yeah, I believe a deep hole test was done, but it was more than a decade ago. So I would assume that's long since expired.
Well, I mean, you don't. Well, I mean, if you have if you have a Title V inspection and your existing system works, and there's an existing plan for a reserve area, then you're all set.
Okay.
It's the issue comes in where that hasn't been done, and all of a sudden, especially in some of the older farmhouses and stuff where they haven't upgraded the system in decades. And all of a sudden, they need to go and do that, and they have trouble finding, appropriate areas to put that in. And especially if they've carved off a big chunk of land, then, kind of forces it into a bad situation for everybody. So I would check with the Board of Health on that. So I'm not sure if I really want to move forward on this until we have that approval.
Would be the
feedback from the Board of Health.
Would that be with the state?
No, Town Board of Health.
Town Board of Health. Do you know who the person, the point of contact is for that?
Kristen, right? I think you can email Kristen, and she can get your question answered. I guess, Mark, my one question is, I didn't think we could hold up the approval with this. Am I not correct in that?
Well, I guess the question, if it becomes an issue where the Board of Health has a problem with carving it off, do we want to back them into a corner? And technically, I'm not sure if it would be legal to carve it off if they haven't followed what Title V requires.
But I guess if they aren't able to make it work, they would have to revise the A&R to a plan that would work then.
Yeah. If they haven't sold the lot off by then, and then
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, on the remaining 34 acres, I would expect that there's they could find perkable areas. It's just Title V is fairly specific about
yeah, no, I get what you're saying, I just wasn't sure if that was with regard to A&R, if we could hold back approval of that. I didn't think Title V soil testing was a requirement for an A&R.
Well, soil testing isn't. No, it's showing proof that you have a Title V compliant system and reserve area. So if that's already been done and it's on file, then they're all set. But if they need to go out and do all the testing and show that they have that they can put in the system, that's where it gets a little hairier for everybody.
But is that a requirement for the A&R to demonstrate that?
It's not a requirement for the A&R, and I'm looking through the backland zoning. I'm not seeing.
It gets weird. If you're taking an undeveloped parcel, where you don't have existing houses and such, you don't have to worry about it. You can divide it up however you want, and you've done the testing for the individual lots and all of that. In a case where you're subdividing something off of a lot that already has a dwelling and a septic system, that's where the issues come in.
So
Mark, you're talking
essentially,
about the backup system for the existing house. Is that what your concern is?
Well, I mean, showing, well, both that the existing system, whatever they're currently using, is, passes Title V, and that there's a reserve area, that's been located and such. So
I guess, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Is there a house on this lot? Does this lot 1 have anything on it?
lot 1 does not, but the existing 34, the existing house and parcel they're carving this out of does have a house on it.
Yes, yeah, but so no, I guess what I was saying is lot 1 is completely, it doesn't have any house or any septic system that's associated with the 34 lots, the other 34 lots within lot 1. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're asking though is, does lot 1 have viable?
No, I don't care about lot 1. No, I mean, Title V is looking at the original parcel. The original, what would be about 30, 38, 39 acres. The original thing before lot 1 is, the lines were drawn for lot 1. So
I know, but that's what my whole point is.
on that original parcel, there is a house.
Yep. And a septic system.
Title V says in order to subdivide a parcel, it has a house on it. You have to show that the system is, meets Title V, that there's a reserve area. Regardless of, whatever's on lot 1, whatever's on, whatever else you're carving out.
So you're saying the Board of Health has a requirement that basically says this lot 1 needs to kind of demonstrate that it has viable.
No, again, it's not lot 1 that has to show that. I mean, presumably in doing, if somebody was going to buy lot 1, they would show that. No, I'm saying the remaining 34 acres, the remaining original parcel with the existing house on it.
But the remaining existing 34 acres has a house, has a septic system, and has a reserve area that was already done, because that's all outside of lot 1. That's what he was just mentioning.
No, that's the point, is we don't know if it has a reserve area. We don't know if it passes Title V. That's the question. In order to subdivide lot 1 off of the original parcel, you have to show that the existing structures have a viable system.
Okay, I don't remember running into this with any other previous A&Rs.
Yeah, I don't either. For a
So
backland lot, anyway.
just to clarify, the A&R has already been approved and signed. So this is just for the backland lot special permit.
Okay,
And I was looking through our regs for the backland lots. It does say granting of a special permit does not constitute a waiver of any other applicable bylaw or statute. So
yeah.
is it possible that the board could choose to grant the special permit, and then there's the 20-day appeal
Pending Board of
period.
Health.
So prior to it being recorded with the registry, the applicant or the owner of the full parcel could do the due diligence with the Board of Health at that time? Would that be amenable?
I mean, that works as long as, if they need to go out and do deep hole testing and perks and do a full system design, they're not going to get that done in the 28 days. They're not going to get that done in, before this gets signed off or released.
Right. If they don't record it at that point, though, if they wait to record, that's essential. I mean, if they don't record it, then that doesn't bear, doesn't hold any water. So you could hold off on recording the plan prior until
I don't understand. Mark, are you saying that they need to redo their Title V for the existing house at 174?
Is there an existing Title V?
Yeah, it might never have been done.
Mike, when I was on Board of Health, you ran into several times where people, like the whole butternut subdivision,
Yeah.
the people that own that land didn't realize this. And after the fact, when, after that was all sold off, this was pointed out to them, and they had a miserable time trying to get a title, get a new system put in. Whereas if they had known it up front and could have moved some lot lines around a little bit, it would have been a breeze. And that's what Title V is trying to protect everybody from. You could if you have a really marginal lot, where the house is situated, and you carve off a big chunk of it, you may not have someplace that actually perks.
So actually going back, we already approved the A&R. So this is for a special permit for backland lot. Under the requirements for special permit for backland lot, is there anything with regard to Title V? Because that might.
It's a general, state and local.
Okay.
And it's Title V, so it's a state requirement.
I'm feeling like, because in our bylaws here, it's saying that the granting does not constitute a waiver of any other bylaw or statute. I'm feeling like it's likely the applicants at their applicant's risk, whether they want to, go forward with the special permit, or they want to ask the board to continue until their next meeting. I don't know if Justin is still.
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry,
Yeah.
just to be clear, the Title V would be on the original 174 property or on the new proposed Lot 1. I'm a little unclear on that requirement.
Okay, so I assume that there's been engineering, deep holes and perk tests on the new lot to make sure that there's someplace viable.
Yep.
This is the Title V on the existing house.
Mm-hmm. So do we need to prove that Title V was I'm not entirely familiar with the terminology. The Title V was approved or granted on the original property, or do we need to get, if it was already, do we need to get an additional new one in order to create Lot 1?
So Title V inspection is good for 2 years unless you pump the system, in which case it's good for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first part of it, would be to make sure that, that you have a Title V inspection done to make sure the system is working and as expected and compliant and all that sort of thing. The other part of it would be depending on how the house is and such, whether there was ever engineering done for a reserve area for the leach field.
Mm-hmm.
If there was then Neshoba, then Town Hall and our Neshoba Associated Board of Health would have that on file, and then with a Title V inspection, then you'd be all set from the Board of Health. If there is no reserve system engineered, then that would have to be done to bring the system into Title V compliance.
Okay.
But that's all, the Board of Health should be able to walk you through all of that, much better than I can.
Right. And that point of contact, her first name was Kristen. What was the last name?
Kristen Zena is the woman you want to contact. I think if you go to the Bolton Town Hall website,
Mm-hmm.
you just go to Board of Health, her email contact should be right there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So I guess the question is, would you be willing, it sounds like maybe to continue to the next hearing and look for this additional Board of Health information to be able to bring to us to update?
When is the next meeting?
It is.
Next meeting, yeah, it's July 21st.
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
Oh boy.
Yeah, That sounds like we're gonna have to continue on to that next meeting then.
Okay. Okay. Do we have anything else scheduled for that night yet, Valerie?
No, I don't have any public hearings coming up, so we can just schedule it for right at 7:15.
I'll make a motion to continue the 174 Harvard Road Backland Lot Special Permit to July 21st at 7:15.
Second.
All right.
Valerie, you on a roll call? Oh, you're muted.
You think I would get to, I'd be used to this by now, but Daniel Spicer,
Aye.
Pete Driscoll,
Aye.
Michael Gore,
Aye.
Mark Sprague,
Aye.
and Jim, do you want to vote on this?
Aye.
Sure. Could be our fifth member.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Back to the agenda. Okay. Okay, and there. Okay, it's 7:30. So public hearing to hear and act on the application of environmental pools. 184R River Neck Road, Chelmsford. Applicant seeks a special permit for an office and sales facility for the design and installation of swimming pools at 357 Main Street, identified on Assessor's Map 4D as parcel 21 in Bolton's Limited Business Zoning District pursuant to Section 250-12D and 250-23 of the Code of the Town of Bolton. The existing building will be modified and new storage barn will be constructed along with storage areas. Okay. So where are we on this?
We had been, thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Frank McPartland here, representing the applicant. We had been continued from, I want to say, your last meeting in May. And I had unfortunately missed the first meeting in June. Thank you for continuing that to my birthday. I've had some back and forth with Sue Carter at places. I believe we're at a point with her review where it is essentially a clean letter. I had addressed most of her outstanding comments, and there were a few that were left that were landscaping comments, which I intend to address during our submission to the Conservation Commission, which will be subsequent to this. I want to have allow them the opportunity to weigh in on the planting species around the basin. But otherwise, I feel I've fully addressed any of the outstanding comments that Sue had on the plans, and I do not believe there are any additional comments from the planning board unless after my last review or last submittal, some had come up from the board.
Okay, I'm not aware of any additional comments from the board.
The only question I had when I was looking at the review letter, I know you're going to be updating the landscape plan, and that's fine, and the Concom will be reviewing that, but says you also be updating the lighting. So typically we like to look at that and see, the lighting plan and the lights that will be used, make sure they're cut off and all that type of stuff.
Yes, the lights themselves won't be changing. I have to shift one 15 or 20 feet to get it out of. There was a conflict with an underground detention system, so the types of lighting had been included in the previous submittal. So we would just be sliding a light.
Okay, so the actual light fixture that you included with the submission isn't changing. It's just the location.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I'm just adjusting the location of one of the lights behind the building.
Okay. And Valerie, our peer reviewer reviewed the fixture type and everything and was okay with that?
Yes, exactly. So it's really just this one last, it's really just the landscaping plan that Sue was concerned with. I think she was just noting that there was some discrepancy between the site plan, which she has no problem with, and the landscaping plan. So just making sure that those two correspond. And then as Frank was saying, there's a question of what type of plantings should be at one of the, I think it's one of the basins there. So
Yeah,
Yes, the landscaping plan had been originally done on the first layout that I had submitted before I had been able to reduce that impervious on the site. And I didn't have the landscape architect make an update in case there was a chance that I needed to go hit the layout plan again. But now that that's pretty well established and the planning board is bought in on that, then I'm comfortable once we submit to conservation to finalize the landscaping and nail down some those species that places flagged. And there will actually end up being more landscaping again because of the reduction in the impervious. So we'll have more opportunities to plant.
Okay. So I guess the question is there any other comments from the board on any of this? Okay. I know, Valerie, I think you had suggested that we hold off on approving this until Concom reviews signs off on the landscaping, or
No.
are you okay?
no, I was suggesting that that should the board choose to vote tonight, that we close the public hearing, and then once there's a draft decision to review, then the board can vote on that document at the next meeting.
Okay.
If you choose. So essentially using this as a plan modification as a condition on the decision. So allowing that to be done once the Concom's process goes through, because that's going to take a little while longer. So
Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to hold up the whole project while, we can just, I mean, I know you'll come to agreement with Concom on what to plant there. So, I think, and they're more worried about, making sure it's native species, all this sort of thing.
Yes.
So, I think, I'd hate to hold up the rest of the project just for, while, you guys, work through the details there. So I think if anybody, want to make a motion to
Close the hearing.
bring and then we can vote to, then we can go from there.
What I think what Valerie is suggesting is we make a motion to close the hearing, but then we don't vote on the decision until the next hearing. Is that correct?
right. So until we get a
draft decision to look at.
A draft, yeah. Essentially, if you voted tonight, then it would only give 14 days to submit the approved decision, signed decision to the town
Right.
clerk. So this way, we're able to deliberate at a public session, and we wouldn't need to potentially call an extra meeting between now and July 21st to iron out details. So
Okay. Yeah. Why don't we we'll take a motion to close the hearing, and then we'll delay the vote until our July 21st meeting.
Do we just want to double check there's no one in the audience here for this before we close?
Yeah. Is there any comments from the audience on the environmental pools at the former Skinner property? No, it doesn't sound like it. So, okay.
Okay. All right. I'll make a motion to close the hearing for environmental pools.
Second,
Okay, do a roll call.
Sure. Daniel Spicer,
Aye.
Pete Driscoll,
aye.
Mike Gore,
Aye.
Mark Sprague,
Aye.
All right. Motion passed unanimously.
Okay. Okay, very good. So I think we're set on that. We'll vote that out on in July, and we should be set on that then. And hopefully you've finished up all the landscaping stuff with Concom by then.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, and let's see here. So going back to our agenda here. So 71 Annie Moore, was that postponed?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So I think
Okay.
that will be, I'll bookmark that for July 21st as well.
Okay. Okay, and memo to close accounts, that's also postponed until,
Yes, yeah, there's several open accounts within the department, and it's, related to projects that have passed and are complete, but I need to actually get in contact with the applicants so that we know exactly where to return the money to. And this is always something that the town accountants hoping that we get done before the end of the fiscal year. Looks like we didn't quite make that deadline, but I can still keep trying to track people down. So that also might wait till July.
okay. So that brings us to the last item on the agenda is Keys Farm Subdivision Moderator Way Work Plan Update and Discussion of Enforcement. Okay. So, on June 16th, we issued an order of, or a letter of violation to the developer, outlining several areas that were out of compliance with the subdivision approval and phosphid plan. So I guess we need to get an update on where we stand on all of that. And then also then the work plan that we were supposed to have in May, and then talk about scheduling the site visit for the planning board,
Good evening.
among other things.
How are you, Mark? My name is Bob Pace, and let's go back to the plan that we were going to give the planning board. I reached out to Dusham and I'm sorry, Dillis and Roy, and they said the plan is the site plan. There is no plan. Okay, so we've been working off of the list, okay, that you provided us, you or somebody, okay, in the planning board. And so okay, to my idea, we're just working off of the site plan, moving to completion.
Okay, that wasn't what was discussed previously with you, Bob. So you were gonna kind of spell out all the work that needed to be done with some sequencing on when we would be expecting certain things to be done. So I'm not quite sure where the disconnect came from here.
Well, back on May, whatever, or early May, okay, you asked, when we'd have this thing wrapped up. Okay, we said, okay, and I throw out a date of June 4th, okay, to say we'd have most of this stuff done, weather permitting. Well, okay, you lose a day, you lose two, all of a sudden it's a couple weeks. But why don't we look at what's done and what's not? Okay, not what's not done. Okay, I think that you had Mike Savino go out there, okay, and he talked to Valerie, and most of this stuff is done. We have a site walk tomorrow. Okay, so I think a lot of this stuff could actually be discussed tomorrow. I mean, but that's up to you. I had wished that we had the site, or I wish the meeting was tomorrow night. I understand, okay, it doesn't work around everybody's schedule, but that's, this is kind of anticlimactic.
Hey, Bob, can I chime in?
Please.
Good evening, board members. This is Seth Donahoe with Dillis and Roy. I've been helping Mr. Pace and his partners work through some completion items with the Conservation Commission. And we had prepared a punch list of items. It's about 14 items long. And that's something that we had forwarded to the board as well as copies of all his completion reports as he's worked through those items. So he has made substantial progress on many of the items that were relevant, mostly to the drainage basins. And there's a remarkable amount of grass that's been established recently. And I think when you walk on the site, you'll see that it's quite a changed place from last time you were there. What Bob was implying with the site plan is as you know, the site is subject to subdivision approval, and he has committed to bringing the site into compliance with that plan prior to requesting acceptance of the roadway. And that's something that they're actively doing, and they're working through some little details. I know there was some backing of loam and seed along the curbing. In my opinion, that preparing a plan for that is not really necessary. It's just something that needs to be done, and he's gone out and done that. So we're really here tonight to discuss with you kind of what your expectations are, and if there's anything outstanding in your mind as far as the subdivision approval goes. We're happy to put that together in a list and work with you on that.
I mean, I think a big part of that list will come, at the site walk with, when we see what's out there and what needs to be done to finish up the plan, what's on the plan and such. I know that there's ongoing issues with drainage, among other things. So, and I know the board or the town planner just very recently received all of all the reports that have been going to conservation. So we need some time to digest those to make sure that we're, everything's being done, in accordance with the plans.
Valerie, can I just ask, so we had submitted that letter, I think it was, we said June 16th with, I think there were 6 items on it, asking to be addressed. I thought I saw a follow-up letter today noting that 4 of those items out of the 6 have been addressed, but there are still 2 outstanding items.
What are the 2 that are outstanding?
The contractor to remove sediment and reestablish 2 bottoms of basins 1 and 2 per contract documents. And
then documentation that the basins are performing as approved. And then the second item was allowing time for staff to verify the 68 SWIP reports that both conservation and I just received yesterday.
Okay, so there's really one issue. Okay, Seth, could you opine on that, please?
We do need to make sure those SWIP reports are compliant.
Yeah, but they're in. So, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just stating the fact they're in. So, okay, Seth, can you opine on the ponds, please?
Yeah, sure. So if you review the reports that we've sent to the Conservation Commission, we've documented both Pond 1 and 2, Stormwater Management Area 1 and 2. So Stormwater Management Area 1 is the first pond on the right when you enter the development. It's visible in essentially a field area, and there's lots of documentation of that one. It's fully established vegetation on it. At this point, the erosion control barriers down gradient actually have vegetation growing in and all around it. And after storm events, they're essentially impounding the area. So that basin is discharging clean water when it is discharging. And it's really our opinion that the erosion barriers could be removed in that area. I don't think conservation shares that opinion at this point, so we're happy to keep them in place. But my point is that that one has been visited often, and as well as pond number 2. So that would be, Bob, I believe it's right below lot 2, which is
Lot 1.
Lot 1, which is the first house on the right as you go up the hill. And that area actually sediment was removed from the bottom of that. There's documentation of that in the reports we sent over. And the contractor has loamed and seeded the sidewalls, and it's doing quite well as well.
Can I just ask you, you said these reports were submitted to the Conservation Commission. Have they been submitted to the planning board?
They have.
Okay, so Beth.
Yes,
As
yeah,
far as the
Bob.
68 that got dumped.
No, this was the
Okay.
same day, but this was yesterday. Bob forwarded Seth's reports to us, and I forwarded them over to Nitch, and I believe
Okay.
that Steve and Chanel are also on the meeting here. I don't know if they want to speak to their review of those documents.
I guess I would just ask if they've had a chance to look at them. I know it was recent that they just got them.
Yeah.
Hi, this is
Our engineers present, so we might want to take advantage of this meeting as best we can.
Valerie, I actually had a jumble on my schedule. My
Oh.
commitment with Rebecca was today, not tomorrow.